Hi everyone, this is Ty with TMS, and on today's video we're going to go through a Robe BMFL Spot, and we're going to walk through how to replace a tilt drive belt and inspect while we're inside there. So for today's video, the tools we're going to need is a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, need a small technician's flathead screwdriver, set of needle nose pliers, set of diagonal cutters, and a number 3 Allen wrench. Now normally I would do this process with the fixture sitting on its base, but for video purposes I'm going to go ahead and set the fixture on its side. That way you guys can have a good look at the yoke arm. So now we have the fixture sitting on its side. We'll go ahead and rock it to the back. Now our first step is we have 6 Phillips screws that we're going to take off to remove the yoke arm cover. We've got 3 on each side. Now we're okay to remove the yoke arm cover. Here we have our tilt drive belt, our tensioning spring, our tensioning arm here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off our tensioning spring. And before we do that, I'll go ahead and put on my safety glasses. And I'm going to take my number 3 Allen wrench, and I'm going to loosen these 2 Allen screws that hold the tensioning bracket. Next, we're going to take our needle nose pliers, grab one end of the tensioning spring, and we're going to pull it off of the stand right here. Here's our spring right here. Now after removing that spring, you can see that we can move our arm here, and we'll be able to walk the tilt drive belt off. But before we do that, we're going to have to disconnect these 2 wires here and also remove our ground from the ground stud on the inside of the arm down in here. And normally there would be a small zip tie right here that we would have to cut with our diagonal cutters. But when we put the fixture back together, we'll remember to go ahead and put a small zip tie on there. So we've got our ground wire removed. We've got our small Phillips head screwdriver. Loosen these screws up. Move these 2 wires to the side. And now we're able to pull our tilt drive belt off of the assembly and out of the yoke arm. Here's our drive belt. Now while we have the belt out, we're going to go ahead and inspect the teeth, make sure that the teeth are all in good condition. Make sure that there's no fraying on the edges of the belt. We do have a little bit of fraying right here. I don't know if you can see that. So while we've got this belt out and we found some fray, we'll go ahead and replace it with a brand new belt. And as usual with an area of a moving light open, we'll go ahead and inspect other parts of the fixture. We'll inspect the drive and make sure that all the teeth and the drive assembly are in good condition. Make sure that our tilt lock travels easily and locks into place. Make sure that our pulley spins freely, and also that our PCB is in good condition and that our encoder and our tilt motor spin freely. Looks like everything is in good condition. So now we can go ahead and grab a new tilt drive belt and throw that in. So I've got here a new tilt drive belt for the Robe BMFL Spot. And I also grabbed a new tensioning spring. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll route our belt through our wires, around the encoder, and walk it back onto the drive gear. Reroute our wires. Tighten these two down. Reconnect our ground wire to the ground stud. Next, we'll take our new tensioning spring. We'll install our new tensioning spring onto the studs. And the tensioning spring will put the perfect amount of tension onto the belt. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stand the fixture back up onto its base, and I will swivel the head back and forth a couple of times just to make sure that the tension evens out on the belt. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock the tilt lock on the fixture head and rotate the fixture side to side, and that'll also help to line up the tilt drive belt on the gears and the pulley. So now that we've rotated the fixture head a couple of times to line up our belt, set the fixture back down on its side, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to tighten our 2 Allen screws to keep the pulley assembly in place and to lock our tension spring in place. I tighten the screw on the right first just to keep the assembly from rotating any at the pivot point. And then second, I tighten the pivot screw itself. Test to make sure that I can't move the bracket. We seem to be locked down pretty good. Good tension on the belt. Now we're ready to go ahead and stand the fixture back up on its base and put the yoke arm cover back on. Yoke arm cover back on. Thanks, Pete. Install our 6 Phillips screws, 3 on each side. All right, now we have the fixture all back together. Now we're ready to hook up to power set up to our console and test the fixture, make sure that all connections were connected properly, and the fixture is good to go. Thank you very much for joining us on this video. I hope you found it informative. Feel free to leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe below, and take care and be safe.